And reshaping their legacy in the LPL for 2019, making new changes, bringing in new faces, and making a bigger impact. That is what Vici Gaming are trying to do here. Welcome back to Shanghai. My name is Cheilzi, Mr. Clement Chu to my left, right. Doesn't matter really, does it? Stop complaining about it. This is our second game. Vici and V5 have something to say in that 48-minute game.
Oh, what a bloody game and an amazing team fight-oriented clash between these two teams. I think the game plan is going to remain relatively similar. Vici Gaming, sorry, there's so many V's right here. Vici Gaming, they have that trump card of Pump, that late game hyper-scaling. So they're going to be probably going on the blue side, controlling the composition they want to play, while V5, as they always do, going on the red side and trying to look for those counter matchups to make a big impact in the early game.
Because that was the biggest part of the draft for me, is that we saw so many counter matchups, essentially two losing lanes by the start of that game, turned into, all right, well, bottom lane's pretty even for what it is. Got bullied a couple of times, but not really. It was in the mid game anyway. The mid lane for Korn wasn't abused enough, and the top side, Cheilzi, the first death of the game, but nothing more happened from that, and the Sion never really found himself ahead of the Urgot.
Yeah, that's the big trouble that V5 are trying to, our V5 are facing right now is the lane they want to punish the most, definitely Jay's lane overall. They didn't get to do it because of such a safe pick by Zoe. And if you look at how safe, why he got something that safe and that basically unplayable against, it's also because that Puff took up 2 bans in the red side already. The Kaisa had to be taken away. The Cassiopeia, you don't want him on that. We've seen what he does against EDG even after multiple Cassiopeia nerfs. So that really freed up Jay to just first pick into Zoe, which I think is probably the safest matchup right now. Korn hasn't shown the LeBlanc for a while, so missing a couple of those key counter picks to really push the matchup.
And if you're going to pick Jace into Zoe, you're okay, right, let's try and win this lane harder. Even though Jace is going to be pretty hard itself, let's go that one step further. However, for Vici Gaming, it's your favorite boy for MVP. Like, if there's any other person I'd get an MVP into that game, I'd go, well, maybe Southwind, just because we're on his hype train. But, oh no, maybe Cheilzi, but Jay deserves it as well.
Yeah, Jay really stretched out the map advantages that they got. He hit so many Sleepy Trouble bubbles, and he was the main reason that this composition was able to continue the siege. There was so much damage and pressure just put onto V5 to kind of back out of their towers. He was never punished for playing the Zoe as much as we thought he would be. Korn, like we were talking about, is an AD assassin player, and he didn't really get the matchup to take Jay out of the game. He got to control the later tempo.
It's interesting in changing those tempos as well, because with Jay and Korn, they're both playing initiators at the moment. Jay's been playing a lot of Galio, Korn's been doing exactly the same, and so this mid lane has been quite similar in the teams, and now again it is quite similar in both of these teams. So game 2 drafting, it makes it a little bit more interesting that these assassins are now on the board. We've seen a Zed in LEC. Why can't we see? It's China. Like, let's see a damn Zed. Let's see something interesting. You mentioned the Talon before. Very viable considering the compositions that are being built up by V5. And if they want to push the tempo again, Talon's the way to do it.
Yeah, and I actually think Ben4 is the jungler to do it with. He's been having a really good performance overall, getting that multiple snipes onto Puff in the early game. The late game, he saved a lot of the team fight situations with his disengage, so that is a viable option. However, the one that is tried and true is actually giving Jinoo
the Riven.
Yes, give Jinoo the big guns.
100% win rate, by the way. 12-1 and 14 over 2 games. And to be honest, he looked absolutely amazing with it. And I'm pretty sure that he first picked it game 2. Or he picked it blind into his matchup.
Yeah, it looked like it wasn't super blind. They did guess out that Camille was going to go top, so it was a calculated pick right there.
That's true. And they're like, is it a Camille flex? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Running Camille into Riven, not fun experience.
You've seen that play on the Penta as well. You got to play from the Turkish League, that exact same matchup. But for Jinoo, he is known as the Immortal Sword. When we talk about famous Riven 1 tricks, the Shy's one, the other's Jinoo. Yeah. They're one of the top 3 the top 3 Riven players.
I'm with you.
Yes, on the Korean solo queue ladder, and they've been for a very, very long time. So I want to see in the game 2 draft, game 1, they gave the counter pick to Ben4, made sure he wasn't going to get invaded on. Game 2, I want to see them go back to what has secured them the series against OMG. Give Jinoo the big guns.
Especially when you're going up against Cheilzi, who is more or less has Renekton as a back pocket pick, as he has a lot of different carries himself. So it would be nice to see the carry matchup rather than, you know, same old rubbish Sion Urgot. As good as they are in the meta, I know they're like S+ tier picks. But boy, oh boy, let's freshen it up a bit, you know? Let's get some Airwick in here and spray it all about.
Oh, definitely is the case. I'm not sure if Corn is going to be able to take that much out of Jay's lunch money, so why not just give it to Jinoo, give him the bully role on the team, and let him run with the early game.
That's some rough stories right there, Clement. I think you're right, though. The bullying potential is just such a big factor for V5 at the moment.
I actually grew up in the States, and you know here in Asia, you don't take your lunch money to school because it might get taken away. You actually pay it up front.
I feel like they're thinking a step ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a better system overall. But back to the match.
I feel like I just use this country's so far ahead. I just use WeChat and just take it up to the canteen.
Oh yeah, just scan your QR code at the cafeteria.
QR code. I'm 4 years old. I got a mobile phone because I need a QR code. I mean, you're right though. I did take my lunch money to the same thing. $1 coins though, and it was heavy as hell. It was like $6 and $1 coins. About a kilogram of weight for a young lad. That's why my muscles are so strapping at my age. But you're right, Clement. It's going to be a believer matchup if Ben4 able to get the Gragas again. Was very influential in that game number 1. And especially if something like the Riven's on the table, we can expect that top jungle matchup to be of vital importance rather than the mid jungle, which we did not see. Korn was not quiet that game, but was quiet essentially because Ben4 just didn't make the trip to mid.
Yeah, they had a lot of pressure. It was more about roaming for them. They could have definitely found a little bit more into the jungle of Vici for that early game. That's one point I kind of criticized on that. I don't think they played it as suffocating as they potentially could have.
Yep.
Think about 2 pushing side lanes. The Lee Sin shouldn't have been able to roam around his own jungles and take his own camps as freely as he was doing. But overall, it was a really good defensive warding positions across the map on Vici to allow that to happen. We're looking at Coach Dog8, actually former of the coaching staff of JT from the LMS as well. So again, V5, their identity is a team of veterans being built together from all different teams. Jinoo and Y4 coming over from LGD, Road from BLG, and Korn, the world's finalist, coming in from the former TOP.
We haven't seen Road yet though on this roster. Well, we haven't seen enough of him. Thank you, Clement. But Lei has been the mainstay here in this support position. And Tom Kench was game number 1. Let's see what we get in game number 2. Vici Gaming up 1 again. They've played every game 3 apart from against RNG. And we'll see if it's another trend or if this one goes a full distance and breaks that theory.
So V5's being put under a lot of pressure right here. They don't have a good counter matchup into the Zoe, and they are considering the potential Kai'Sa.
They banned the Zoe away first, though, and yes, Kai'Sa is up and available for a first pick priority.
I like the read so far, so they're probably still sticking to their guns on going with the Korn route. They're making sure that there aren't any safe matchups for Jay. Like I was saying, if I had to pick a weakness on Vici in terms of the laning phase, it definitely would come from the mid part of the map. So V5 looking to punish that, looking to get a lead earlier on. And with the way this draft is going, they might still get the Kai'Sa as well. So a lot of wins here.
Okay, so if that's considered a win, then I'm sure Vici Gaming with the Urgot still consider that just as high. Cheilzi, again, it's going to be the first pick up, and V5, Alistar, Kai'Sa bottom lane for Y4 and Lei.
The best possible combination that they're looking for, the one that they're most comfortable overall. Most played champions for Y4 and Lei in this bottom lane. I'm not going to comment on that until they actually lock it down.
It's not going to be, Clement. You know this. If it is, I don't know. I might have to leave.
V5, they got the foundation that they wanted. Their main damage dealer is still Y4. His most played is Kai'Sa. They bank on his late game.
Yep.
So all they need right now is just the icing. The early game power to get them a small lead, make sure Kai'Sa isn't punished too hard, and they can match Vici in the late game.
So Ben4 has opportunities to pick up an early game jungler like the Lee Sin, the Jarvan still available too. Vici Gaming locked down their bottom lane in the Ezreal Tahm Kench. Safety first, questions later, considering how Puff has performed on Ezreal in the past.
Puff looking to do a Zhongwuji impression from yesterday's pentakill. It is a pick that actually does punish the Kai'Sa earlier on, as well has a lot more strength. Huh.
But the LeBlanc locked in for Korn.
Huh.
Now, there's going to be a couple of bans towards the mid lane, you'd think, but they start with Gragas. Korn has picked very riskily a blind LeBlanc.
I'm not sure where this LeBlanc is coming from because they actually banned out the Zoe, and they could have got the Zoe, LeBlanc into Zoe matchup, which is considered a very hard counter pick.
Yeah.
V5 just say no. We actually don't mind the counter pick potential. We just want it blind.
I will say, you know, just because I like stirring the pot. No, I'm Australian. Jinoo could take it top. And really
come on, no.
You know, he picks up Riven. Why not a LeBlanc top? I'm just messing with you all. You will see the Rise banned away, so there is still some priority from V5 that LeBlanc has to have some semblance of a safe laning phase, but still a lot on the board that can counter LeBlanc. I mean, Syndra's, we still got a Syndra? We still got a Syndra.
Yep, Syndra's still up. Not really a champion that I think Jay's going to be. Oh, actually, it's Jay's second most played champion. So never mind. Never mind. Maybe still in the matchup. I like what V5 are doing. They're just taking away strong 2v2 dual lane junglers.
Yeah.
Making sure that they can't get Korn that far ahead, but I really wonder what the matchup is going to be. I think they're thinking about the potential Syndra because Jarvan is a great counter. Syndra with no mobility, can't really dodge out on those EQ combos.
And a 2v2 as well, very mobile there from Ben4 and Korn. So with the Jarvan LeBlanc locked in, now Vici Gaming have their run-of-the-mill. They get the counter pick in mid, they get the jungle matchup as well. Ike's considering the Olaf that we know goes very well into something like a Jarvan, considering when Ragnarok's up and available, you just bring the Jarvan to you.
All right. So they're looking down at the 2v2, but V5 can one-up them. Yorick is still up in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone forgot about that. Last pick, Yorick against the Urgot. An absolutely one-sided matchup. Jinoo, do you have the pick? That's the question we're asking right here. Actually, Vici, they're thinking about it. They actually have not locked it in yet. Maybe they just remembered it. It's like,
seconds. They're like, hang on. Do we take it ourselves? No. So they will prioritize with the Syndra. Now, if it's not the Yorick, maybe towards Jinoo's playstyle, he goes the aggressive route. Vayne has been picked mid in the LPL, but I don't think we'll be looking at that this game. Fiora is definitely still a possibility. We're at 9.2. What is the route he takes? No.
What?
Vladimir.
He goes for another AP champion.
Can be very dangerous into an Urgot. If you don't manage your health, if you don't manage your trades as a Vladimir into an Urgot, you pretty much sign your death warrant.
Definitely is the case, but I think what Jinoo is looking at is the later game team fights at this point. You have two very squishy targets and not a lot of defensive capability to actually zone the Vladimir away.
Yep.
So if he gets a late game nuke into the backline, Vici's just gone in an instant. So I think that's what he's aiming for. And Vladimir, typically this is a matchup where you're going to get pushed in. So V5 actually saying with the last pick with Jinoo, they're going to play defensive on the top side and have all their chips hedged onto Korn's shoulders.
But Clement for V5, how do you like their draft? Like, it's some dangerous lanes you have to play through. You pick Jarvan, LeBlanc, and the response is Olaf into Syndra. That mid lane's going to be potent. Top side is going to get pushed in. In the bottom side as well, we know how oppressive Ezreal can be, especially with Tahm Kench. The range advantage there early.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? 3 losing lanes?
Not really. Not really. I feel like the mid
through
lane should still be able to go to the combination of Korn and Ben4.
Okay.
Usually what we see in this matchup happen is that Jarvan just comes in for an early level 2 gank, makes sure he gets the summoner away from Syndra. Syndra can't really punish after that, and then you try to find a kill. It's still a lane that you can snowball, even though Syndra is favored in the matchup. So I think that was a planned drafting execution coming in from V5 and their coach Dog8. They want the Jarvan against the Syndra. We've seen this at matchup. It's a bit of a historical matchup in the LPL, a bit of a switch and bait right there.
Yeah.
But I actually still would have liked something a little bit more aggressive in the top side. I don't think Kai'Sa's going to necessarily have the easiest time. 2 losing lanes in the sides is going to put a lot of pressure, and those things could spill over to the mid lane as well. So I'm really not sure about the Jinoo Vladimir. I know what he wants to do. He's saying, you know what, V5 so far, we haven't really played a 4-1 split push. That's what Yorick kind of ties you down into. So they're just going for a big team fight.
Well, hopefully they can execute it. Hopefully they can get to that late game stage and make Jinoo ever so relevant. It's not his Riven, but it's still the carry in the top lane with Vladimir. Game 2, easy on the chance there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started. You know what's happened?
What was the last one?
I don't know. Clint, can you translate? Oh, hang on. Never mind translating. Puff has been caught out here. Jay flashes forward, two-man pulverized. Puff in a lot of trouble. Korn sandwiching down, and it's a delicious one at that. First blood over to V5, and Southwind takes all the stacks of second skin, only to walk away himself.
Oh, massive win for V5 earlier on. We were talking about getting Korn ahead in the matchup. How about free first blood?
Oh, 400 gold. Thank you kindly. That's a rough start, especially for Puff, who has to walk all the way back into the bottom side. He uses his teleport early. There goes the very near possibility for 5 minutes here.
Yeah, that was a lane that could have actually punished, but this is why I like the Yorick.
Yep.
Just to remind everyone, Yorick wouldn't have this happen to him.
Yeah, that's true. Jinoo wants a transfusion. He does find it onto a minion, but Cheilzi at level 1. Happy to sacrifice some of his own CS.
There's nothing you can do in that.
That's the true crab rave right there.
All right, here we see Ben4, but smart early ward from Vici's bot lane as well. They know they don't have the flashes anymore. Might as well play it safe rather than sorry.
Well, at this point in time, Clement, I think it's okay that for an Ezreal Tarm catch that there is no summoners. I'm only saying that because Southwind does have his flash.
Yep.
And we'll have Devour at level 2.
So small things to notice in the top side. Jinoo is bringing the phase rush into the fight. The other options you could see are something like the Unsealed Spellbook or the Area's potential as well. But the phase rush does give you much more purchase into team fights, into backlines. That's the reason that Vladimir's here. It's always for the late game big team fighting. But he's going to have to sit pretty still in lane. However, the big difference is Ben4 is going so aggressive into the enemy jungle. This is something we want him to do in game 1, and he's finally doing it now.
But we've got a bit of vertical jungling going on, although he's getting Krugs and has picked up the red buff of Ikes. There's a red buff to be taken here as well. Cheilzi just walking through. He has full lane priority, so a trade in buffs is going to be okay. Ike's going to do the exact same thing, the difference being tempo at the moment.
I want to see if Vici are able to stay alive. This is the most typical gank we see in the LPL. 3 level 3s against 2 level 2s. A lot of times the Tahm Kench either doesn't have Devour or doesn't have the great health. So it's a very good opportunity to try and get a kill right there.
He wanted to punish it.
Yeah. Vici are able to actually get away with that.
It's interesting because Puff still half the timer on to the flash. Now, of course, just having a look at what Jay has taken with the Mana Flow ban and Transcendence. Pretty normal here across the board, but maybe more of the domination tree, what we see with the Poro and Ravenous Hunter in there as well.
Do see the early gank we were talking about being set up by Ben4. It's going to cost him 2 camps.
One goes forward, does get the lockdown underneath turret. Jay knows he's fine here. Ben4 can't make the dive happen at level 3, especially with Scatter the Weak still available.
Really good wave control right there. Just it was slightly pushing out for Vici Gaming, but at such a slow place that Ben4 really couldn't wait anymore. And that's the reason that we're seeing Syndra being favored over the LeBlanc matchup. It's when LeBlanc is trying to come in on you and do the distort, you can always push her back, prevent the damage, and then trade back onto her original position.
Because Korn at the moment has been pretty easy to read. Jay pretty much showing, well, actually letting me down at that instance. Jinoo, very real kill threat here. Sango and Paul is there. Good timing as well with the flip. That would have been a dead Vladimir in the top side.
Ooh, I really want to see how good Jinoo is on this Vladimir.
Oh, no.
I'm not sure it was worth a counter pick in that sense to take it into this matchup.
Yeah. And there's no healing early on in the levels as well for Transfusion. Remember, we had a bit of vertical jungling before, so Ikes is now making his exit and hitting up this Scuttle Crab, which will be contested by Jay. Jay has just found his own dairy farm and is comfortably making his way to it.
That's how much pressure Jinoo is feeling in the matchup onto the top side. It actually pulls Lei all the way from the bot side of the map to try and equalize it out. So I want to see what Jinoo can do. Like, he's not really known as being a AP Vladimir type of player. He does play a little bit of the Akali and stuff like that, but it really is going to be a very big testament on how he can play the team fights rather than the split pushing style.
It's honestly, at this point, something very important in the LPL, considering our meta, that with that shift, this is an interesting start. Clement, level 6 on Cheilzi, and his first item there.
Oh man, this is the blind picked lane bully.
This is This is like, Jinoo, you're not healing. All he has to do is hit him once. And that transfusion means nothing. A Crimson Rush, excuse me.
Oh, it really does feel quite bad. Like you were talking about, the empowered, still the empowered transfusion, not really going to have an effect if Cheilzi can time it correctly. Just negate most of the healing there. And he's really free to roam up and kind of pressure all the other lanes. The early play that we wanted from Ben4 onto Jay didn't really happen. Kudos to him playing the lane super defensively, just making sure the LeBlanc couldn't further snowball even after that first blood.
Yep.
For me, Vici, this is just a sit tight, make sure you get Herald game.
Yeah, they're just playing it ever so slowly. And down the bottom lane, made an appearance into the minion wave, trying to get that awesome bit of pulverize. But that did not exist, unfortunately. And V5 continues to play passively out. Small CS in the mid lane that's been conquered up. And V5, maybe around the Ocean Drake is where Ben4 goes next. There is no warding here, so it is completely blind, and Y4 is just walking towards it, but ping's going down. Vici Gaming starting to move, or no, not even moving towards that objective. Ike's is like, I have a blue buff up.
Yeah, I really like this play so far, actually. It's a pretty smart and efficient play. It's like the jungler takes the blue buff, and in exchange, we're going to try and get the Ocean Drake for our mid laner. That's going to work as a, pseudo blue buff. But Vici Gaming, they smell it out. They say, you know what, we're not going to give up on this dragon. I really like this map awareness from their bot side. Their middle and jungle are handing up the blue buff, so they have that in the back of their heads to make sure that the enemy jungler isn't on the jungle in the meantime, isn't on the Drake in the meantime. And
if they gave up that Ocean Drake and an Ocean Drake into a Vladimir, hang on, Ike just gets popped on down, ignites there, flash forward, unleashed power, Korn is dead, and Ike survives.
The 3v1 collapse right there. Korn was looking for it. He felt like he had the drop on it.
Oh, we're back into the top lane. Everything lands. Jinoo is dead here. It doesn't matter with that Executioner's calling. Will he heal enough? A little bit. Cheilzi, no more kill threat actually, but ultimate down for Jinoo too.
Just as you say that, he does land another of those noxious blasts. Let's put Jinoo down fairly low.
Yeah. It was the same before, Clement. If the Ocean Drake was picked up, think about how this matchup could actually turn. Jinoo in a losing lane. Actually doing okay here, only 10 CS down to Cheilzi.
And now it really is Vici's turn to put on the pressure in the early game. Because V5, Syndra is that pick that doesn't really do that much for you in the later phases of the team fight.
Yeah.
Ben4 coming in.
Oh, there's a Cataclysm out. Cheilzi didn't get out of it though. And Jinoo gets a kill on the matchup.
He didn't really have a chance to get out of it. Disdain not going over terrain. So without a flash and no jungle help right there, Cheilzi just forfeits his life. Very good understanding of the trade patterns coming in from Ben4. Great read on the lane situation.
So top lane now in a good position. Mid lane was until Jay picked up the kill, which is going to be devastating for Korn after that early first blood. But Ben4 a little bit more proactive this time. Picks up his own camps. And Ike's left wondering where this enemy jungler is. There is a bit of availability to the bot side for V5 if Jarvan chooses to come down.
When equal teams play against each other, it's very much like a trading card game. You know, a lot of dynamics. You want to play either just a little bit slower, have a little bit more scaling opportunities, or you want to play much, much faster. And in this game, I feel like V5 is the former. They are having a composition that does scale a little bit better into the late game, and they are challenging Vici Gaming to say, hey, just don't. We're gonna force you to rely on something else than Puff's late game to win this series.
Okay, so if Puff's late game doesn't exist as much as Y4's, then let's look at Jay and how that mid game will be more impactful. It's picked up the Lost Chapter. We'll see a Luden's Echo coming first. It might be a little bit quicker considering Grift Herald's actually just being knocked on now. Ben4 knocks down a control ward. Where's the standard? The flag is down.
It's a 3v3. It's going to be a flashpoint here.
Does get unleashed power as well after Scatter the Weak. Ben4 survives. Teleport coming in just to secure Rift Herald. Jinoo wants a team fight, but he's in no position to with a Hextech Revolver. Rift Herald now secured for Ike's. Vici Gaming get the objective without any worry.
There's a 2v1 in the bot lane forming up, but Puff gets away.
Well, very hard for Lay to get the headbutt pulverized with an Ezreal, as we know. We'll be able to defend this turret as well.
No, I really like Jay's control right there. Just makes Ben 4 so afraid to go in for the contest. Unloads all of his damage as soon as he sees the target. There's no way that was a kill, but it was a very good dissuade on his part. However, this will open up V5 to continue their jungle pressure. See if they can find anything with it.
Yeah, so for V5, just deeper vision seems to be the objective right now, but getting pushed out of river in the top side. Ike's moves his way back into the pixel brush. Korn is going to be spotted out by the lack of vision, or rather being spotted out by the Scry's bloom. Ripchild being channeling mid. Interesting use, but you can see that Vici want to force this objective now. 5 mid. Let's do it. Or 6 if you count Herald.
Oh, this is the overflow that we were talking about. The side lanes have the extra pressure. The bot lane wasn't punished enough. And here they come.
Lay comes in, 2-man pulverized, but in the belly of the beast. Southwind has to flash out. He's going to sacrifice his life. Jinoo coming in. Hema Plague ready and available. They take one onto Southwind. Does eventually get himself out. It wasn't used. Jinoo again, right into the grinder's meat. And Vici Gaming might be able to get this turret. Push V5 back.
It looked like a great start from Lay, but Korn going in.
Oh, he's back in. The Ignite's down. That's all that matters. Lay can't lock down Puff. Will sacrifice his life as well. Messy little skirmish in the mid lane. Korn sits there waiting. Has no mana. The turret for a couple of lives. Vici Gaming still ahead.
And when the dust settles, it should be a 3-for-1 on Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming getting the advantage right there. Ben 4 did fall down earlier in the team fight. He did get the Cataclysm down, but it was instantly popped by Jay. Just none of the magic resistance there to help him. It's a situation where Vici were forcing the issue. They actually got Jinoo very low early on as well. Great path prediction, and you could see with the Scatter of the Weak down, not even using the ultimate, was able to take down Ben 4 and kind of stop V5 in their tracks.
Cheilzi just wanted the kill. He said, you know what, this looks good. And after a tasty burger, there's one back on the ergot. But for Clement, I mean, Jinoo, this lane has worked out. You have to say it's been fine for V5. They've played towards what you said was the later game, and we're at 13 minutes in, and Jinoo, it's still okay.
He is still okay, but I don't think his laning phase is fine. I still don't think he's going to be able to get out of the position.
Has Protobelt. A bit more versatility in that lane.
True. Urgot should still be able to push him in at this point.
Okay.
That's what I want to point out. And I feel like with mid lane gone, pretty much he's not going to be able to stay in the side lanes. The next 5 minutes is about Vici taking down the side lanes as well. And if V5 can find an opportunity and punish Vici as they're walking in on their own turf.
Because V5 right now don't have vision on that said turf at the moment. Dragon going down completely blind. Control ward only towards his bottom side and in the safe parts of their jungle. So without contestant means the Ocean goes to Vici Gaming, a team that will be able to engage, get that poke down, and heal back up. So not a totally useless Dragon. But Cloud Drake coming up next. Maybe not useless either, but who knows?
Oh, Cloud Drake is definitely something that they're looking more forward to. The ability to rotate faster. Vici Gaming setting up another 1v3. This is the play we were talking about.
Jay was spotted out by a ward, but Ike's is already in. Korn looking for the lockdown. Ragnarok now here as well. That's the fake clone. True Shot Barrage doesn't even nick. Undertow almost does. Hang on, Y4 has ult.
Hey,
he goes in. Cameraman, who cares? It's an Urgot. Go back down to the bottom lane. Nothing happened. Y4 was able to get out alive. He used his flash there. Ike's almost dies as well. Now we're back to the top side. Cameraman very upset. He's spaghetti at you. Jinoo will heal off this as well. Clement, what did I say about this laning phase? It's getting a bit picklish. After Unleashed Power, no, excuse me, Fear Beyond Death used in the top side of the map, means Jinoo was able to push back there. Turret does go down in the bottom side, but you can now see that the top side seems to be a bit more point of focus.
Yep, the 2 kills definitely helping out a little bit right there. And for V5, still an advantage for Vici. I'm getting a little bit confused by my Vs right there. Vici still pushing the tempo, however. They do get another side lane down. It's going to be kind of hard for Y4 to really find a safe laning phase at this point. He has Olaf staring at him, and Jay is going to be able to one-shot combo.
Yeah, but not if he's dead, Clement. Jay doesn't get knocked up by the Dragon Flag. This turret's still alive too. Korn's here.
If they go in on him, it's going to be a big mistake.
Oh, wow. What a guess from Southwind. Must have seen it with the lens on his way in, so never mind that. But still, Vici Gaming able to hold off and keeping the tempo at their level rather than V5's.
The good news for V5 is that they do have the scaling composition and they do have the CS lead on Y4 at the very least. If they can keep I think most of their second tier towers up. They should be fine later into the game. Vici, they are looking to push the tempo a little bit. I do think they need a little bit more to justify the picks that they selected at this point.
Oh my lord, Korn, hang on, true shot barrage. He distortions away from it. But that's ulti down for a LeBlanc, which is about 10 seconds.
And that's not even the damage build from Ezreal. Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah. Let's see this time, Clement. There are Sork shoes as you'd expect on Blue Ezreal, but let's see if Puff remembers to wait for Manamune to upgrade before Archangel stuff. We know Raz was talking a little bit about that.
Quality of life buff still not in. Requesting that from the balance team currently.
Where is Jet?
He's working on it.
Okay, so Vici Gaming, Clement. You talked a lot about tempo. We talked about a lot of that this early to mid game. Right now it seems okay for Vici. They've got a gold lead, about 3,000 at this point, at 17 minutes into the game.
Oh,
Jay doing what he does best. Whoa! Man, that just feels bad.
Try to punish my my matchup, Korn.
My V. Man, that's what it feels like. It's a battle of the Vs, as you said. And Jay just shows he's the better one. 4-0-1 now on this Syndra. 700 gold bounty. He gets the turret. He's going to have 2 items very, very soon.
It catches the scatter of the week before Korn can fully distort out of the position. The last tip of it.
Jay needs to use it now. Good, happy feet there from him. Scatter the Week still available. Gets knocked up by Lei. Ignites down. He is going to die. Devoured up by Southwind. Will the Syndra live? For now. Jinoo trying to get there. Flushes in. 3-man Hemo Plague. Jinoo now all the way to full HP. Ike's is in the thick of it. Puff needs to poke him out. True Shot Barrage hits everyone. That's going to deter the fight for longer, but V5 turn it around on their terms.
Okay, the Vladimir is fine. The Vladimir is a fine pick. I was calling for the Yorick the entire game. I knew the laning phase was going to be terrible, but that's the play we were looking for right there. Phase rush into 4 backline players, picks himself up 1,000 gold off a single play. Vici, they had a very fast collapse. All 5 members were there on point, but Jinoo, in a grouped up AoE team fight, that was just a dream scenario.
I think if we see that fight again as well for V5, it's just going to look even better. Right now, Jinoo has almost his second item, if I'm correct, but we'll take another gander at Jay here.
4v5 in this situation. They do take down Jay with a little bit of work, but look how 5 Vici members are here to rotate on the situation. It looks unclear for a moment, but once Jinoo pops that Hemo Plague, everyone knows the gig is up. They have to back out.
And it's again for V5, moments of opportunity to work towards that later game. Baron's up in a minute, and Vici Gaming, they lose the bounty onto Jay. That's 700 gold over to Jinoo, mind you, who is now 4-1 with a bounty of his own. Now, second item almost picked up there. Needlessly large rod in inventory. Jinoo's just doing so much work here. We thought it would be more about Korn and the mid 2v2, but now it seems to be about the top side of the map.
Cheilzi, good ward on the bottom side. They do spot out the 3-man gank squad of V5. So they are actually able to trade a lot back onto the top side. We have to remember they still do have a gold lead in this situation. And in terms of map control, that was a far more favorable trade for Vici Gaming, especially with the Baron coming up.
Yeah, that's right. They still have priority around that Baron. Deep vision now, and look at V5 completely blind towards the top side of that map. Mid's getting pushed in. Jinoo's going to join now, but Cheilzi has the spellbook, probably has an ability to use flash, teleport.
Are you ready for some Jay in the brush?
I'm ready for Jay in the brush, Clement.
Yeah, that's just one-shot combo on so many targets coming in from V5. Oh!
He hasn't been spotted out, actually sitting on a ward now. Unleash power onto the support. It does nothing. Pulverize there, the flash forward. Jinoo is going to take him down. Deleted. Y4 uses the killer instinct. Flashes over the wall to Puff. AD carry battle continues with the support going down to Vici Gaming. Remember, Baron's up now. This is a hard fight to take.
Oh, and Vici, they had such good vision, but V5 take it all back with the pincer move coming in from all 3 sides at the same time. Lei, good target selection, goes directly for Jay, and they just bypass all of the vision.
Look at the positioning here as well. Cheilzi on one side, Ike's on the other. This Baron now at 2k, they have to walk in. Puff wants to recreate the pentakill. Fear beyond death, they get into the pit. 3-man fear. Cheilzi and Puff have to play this right. Jinoo doesn't have flash or Hemo Plague. Walking away from Ben 4, a bit of damage to recurve him in. Puff still chasing up, they heal. They're hungry for this. Puff, continue on. You know you want to do it. Vici Gaming still going after the fight. But with Baron buff taken away, it'll just be late.
I don't think a team has ever been so happy to get a Cloud Drake in their life right there. That 3% movement speed pretty much saved the cleanup from happening on Vici's side.
Yeah.
Remember, this is an Ezreal with a red buff and an Iceborne Gauntlet. If they didn't have the Cloud Drake, those 3 people were dead.
Yeah, that's right. With the Muramana up now as well, and we don't see the Archangel staff picked up. This is an Ezreal that hurts. So punishing for Vici Gaming that V5 were able to get out alive, but here's how it started, Clement.
Oh yeah, Jay just disregards Lei for far too long. He doesn't see the rest of the map collapsing from the bottom side. Caught out, has to use the Scatter of the Weak on a target like Alistar. Never someone you want to go on. And Jinoo with the full burst to secure the Baron play as well.
This Vladimir is doing work, Clement. I'm going to quote you for a second. You're a fantastic guy.
Okay.
But remember the Yorick?
I told you what was going to happen in the matchup. I got the correct prediction. I told you
right.
it was a bad early game matchup. You know me, I much prefer to have a bit more say in the early game.
I know, I'm sorry, Clement, I'm just having some fun. And to be fair as well, it's more like Jinoo's performance here. So even on the Yorick, it'd be a big threat. He's 5-1. Rabadon's Death Cap picked up now. A lot of damage being done by Puff, but that's the response we expected with the Muramana. Korn in the side lane with Baron buff, picking up this first top turret. Or their first turret for V5, actually.
Very impressive in that sense. They've been winning a lot of team fights, clawing it all the way back.
Ooh. This is the lockdown. Cataclysm now by Ben4, devoured up at the cost of nothing here for Vici Gaming. That's a win. But mid-turret, are they going to lose it? That's a loss. Still hovering around. Baron buff here, going to do some damage to the turret. Late.
Is not spotted.
Oh, Hex Flash coming in. The 3-man doesn't exist. It's only 2. Hemoplague onto Puff. He's going to die. Popped on down Vici Gaming in the thick of it with the ultimate coming through.
Jay.
Look at this Olaf, the Viking. It's Ragnar Lothbrok into the middle of the fight. A triple with Scatter the Wing. Jinoo finally takes him down. The form of Brother Rolo, but it does not matter again. Vici Gaming clean out, and Jay is at the heart of it.
How did Jay even do that? That was a pure solo kill. No assist given to any members on its team. He kills Y4 before he can even use his ult. Doesn't get the shield, no killer instinct, just instantly popped. And then they clean up with the fear on that. Just, it looks so good. Puff was gonna go down from the Hemoplague at that. Watch Y4. Double Scatter the Weak.
Wow.
Y4 just goes down. He doesn't pop his killer instincts in time. They get another execute with Cheilzi. 3 fears going down, and I did not expect that outcome.
That was a Vladimir fight, thick and through. That was a Vladimir fight that you say, this is not going to be good for Vici Gaming, but then you remember that Scatter the Weak is a pain in the butt to deal with when you're all grouped up. Puff may have died, but the 4v5 there just looks so good for Vici Gaming.
Oh man, Jay really showing up massively in this matchup against Korn. We were talking about there's so many targets put on Jay's back. Game 1, they throw Korn the good matchup with the Jays. Game 2, they say, you know what, we know what champion you're gonna pick. You're gonna go for the Syndra. We're gonna punish that with the Jarvan.
Yep.
Plays defensive early game, picks his moments in the team fights. And we're seeing another reversal in this matchup. We haven't really seen that many back and forths in the 9.2 patch. It's been pretty much one-sided and decided by the mid-game team fights, but this series has been an outlier.
This series has been going the distance and feels like it might, again, Vici Gaming up 3,000 gold and a double ocean to sit in their pocket. Let's get an Infernal. I'd say close enough, but we all know it isn't. So a bit of a feels bad if you're V5 considering how they want and need these Infernals.
Jay is spotted. It's a 1v2.
Scatter the Weak doesn't land though. Here comes Jarvan from the side. Banshee's Veil's down. Korn right on in. Unleash Power. Now with the Tahm Kench, Southwind is saying howdly doodly. Puff here as well. The chase does not go further than that.
Very dicey situation for both teams right there. We did see Jay miss out on 2 Scatter of the Weeks, but does pull his entire team. The question really now is, can V5 take that opportunity and overload the bot side to get something out of it? You can see that Cheilzi, even though he doesn't see the 2-man duo, he's like, I know they're coming. They have to be somewhere around here. I like the good defensive heads up from him. Does not play with his life.
Was able to strangle out Vision towards that bottom side as well for V5. Cheilzi, again, yes, playing safe for very good reason. Turret's very low here as well. And keeping that turret alive forces Jinoo to sit here. It will eventually break it down. Now a bit of freedom towards that bottom side. Expect that red buff to be contested. Expect that next dragon to be highly prioritized. But maybe even Baron to be forced around if they can do the same with the mid-inner.
V5 don't want to put everything down on the line until Y4 can't get his Banshee's veil up. That's probably the item that they are looking for. Does have a good setup for a hybrid build.
Yep.
And it's the story of 2 nuclear bombs. Which one can actually strike first? That's the most important thing about nuclear warfare. Because if you can take down, if you can hold on to that first strike ability, there is no return damage. And we're looking at Jinoo and Jay.
God, that's a rough situation, Clement, if I've ever been in one.
You thought the Cold War was over?
I'm waiting for that bomb to go. I'm walking out there. I'm waiting for that bomb to go off around the Baron pit, because that seems to be what the priority is going to be around. There's vision control in front of it as well, but the deep vision from V5. Look at that ward on the entrance to the pit. Very crucial warding here from the support of Lei, most likely, with Righteous Glory, mobility boots. The ability to flank now becomes a big possibility. Vici Gaming want to get their first corn.
They have a perfect conclave.
He's spotted out, runs on in. What are V5 going to do in this time? Because Korn might be able to get out of this.
Oh, it's a story about who can actually surround who. Korn is caught on the bottom side of the map, but we do see a lot of V5 players actually entering the contest as well.
This is the good old yakety sax that we were waiting for in the LPL. LCK gets this all the time.
He gets a teleport too.
There's a teleport here. V5 are hitting mid-turret. Vici, stop this. Korn, he will bloom into a different... Oh, which one is real? Oh, no,
he's
hang
still
on.
going to go down.
Korn just needs to die. Yes, okay. Did they lose mid-lane turret? No, they didn't. Ice flashes forward. This is comical. What the bloody hell was that?
That was pretty fun by my estimations. So,
fun, clever. This is not about fun.
I liked it.
This is about money and reputation.
That was super tense. That was super tense. Because if V5 was able to collapse from the right side, and if Korn actually took the right way out of the blue side jungle, there was a potential for a conflict to happen right there. But VG, they come up big. They do win a lot. Here comes the nuclear bomb we were talking about. Jinoo teleporting from the backside.
Korn's not available for 15 seconds. Lays in so early.
4-man
pulverized, but Jay is on protection duty. The support is going to get feared beyond death. All into one backside. Jinoo's there with the hemoplague, but Jay's already killed him.
Down.
Ignite down. A misexecuted team fight from V5 leaves the Barons in the hands of Vici.
Yeah, the timing was a little bit off. I really like what they did on the right side. Ben4 going in first to check the brush, but Vladimir couldn't get the majority of his damage on the grouped up members of Vici Gaming. Hemoplague only going down on Jay, so once Jay was out of danger, there wasn't really a chance to turn the team fight.
Oh, Korn's coming in, looking for the steal with Distortion, gets half health, goes back in way too early. Cheilzi waiting to ult. They do kill the AD carry. Baron secured. A good pick for V5 to slow the pace, but it might not be enough.
Killer Instinct still up for Y4, but doesn't get the crucial target on the back end. So Vici Gaming, once again, they will walk away with more in their pockets.
Tense game here, Clement, and the Baron was only the start of it.
Yeah, it does feel like Lei does go in a little bit early. Y4 does not follow up. It's a great knock-up, but Jay being out of sight really dissuaded Y4 from going straight into the team fight. I felt there was a chance for him to just use his Killer Instincts to follow up and join Alistar on the left side. Decides not to. So good positioning, good control of how to play the Syndra, using the burst potential to really deny V5 members from coalescing.
We've seen some really good Syndras the past couple of days, and Jay again, by the way, second game in a row for Majais. When this mid laner gets put on carries, he damn well carries.
Oh yeah, it's the Jay Cram school, man.
Yeah, let me just say that he's been on the Galio in the past, he's been the initiator, he's been the front line, he's been, you know, more or less carrying, but this time, when it's all on the back of the mages, he's doing so well. He's now got a Mountain Drake to play with as well. Next one will be Elder, but it might not go that long. 5k gold being the difference.
Very well studied person in Jay, has his double books already. The magic pen, able to burst out on the target.
Clement, what a flank this could be.
They see Vladimir on the mini-map though. I'm not sure Lei is going to be able to find a target he wants. And then he is trying to get in a little bit closer with Korn.
Jay's in the back here. Banshee's Veil
they find him.
They do get him, but Korn has to back out. He has a Banshee's Veil himself. Vici Gaming now know exactly what's going on. Lei hasn't been spotted, though. Whether they can re-engage this or find something, that'll be a big question.
So I like the decision making here by Jay. Without the Banshee Veils, it's I believe a 30-second cooldown right now. So he is going to leave the mid lane, defuse the situation, and just make sure that V5 can't get the catch of their dreams.
And Lei does have to back eventually. Like, he was sitting there for a while without anyone in his field of view. The Vici Gaming walked towards the bottom side anyway, so they're going to have to reposition. Baron buff still has a minute 15. It hasn't really worked itself out yet, but it will start now. Ike's is sitting in the side. This Olaf is ready to taste blood again.
Super good map control by Vici Gaming. They take their time in pushing the lanes out. They group up together, make sure there's no flanks.
Oh, Korn jumping in, still ambitious. True Shot Barrage goes wide. Vici Gaming sitting in the bot lane turret. Who is going to stop this super creep? Not me. That's for sure. V5 can't get near it.
Yeah, no teleports for Jinoo.
Very ambitiously coming out. Actually runs towards Ike's. Ignite's been dropped down. Jinoo can't re-engage the fight just yet. Redemption here a little bit early. Puff does heal up, however. Jinoo at half health, but it's a Vladimir. Who cares? Turret does go down in the process. V5 slowly losing out.
And Puff actually was taken down close to half health by a rotation incoming from Korn, but the double Ocean Drakes really doing a good job here, keeping them topped off.
Oh, yeah. Still, there's a lot of damage coming in onto Jinoo. Surprised we don't see the Mortal Reminder yet, but in the build path for Puff, that's definitely a reality. Stopwatch in the inventory. And Hex Drinker into more Malmortius, actually, for Puff. He's had a very, very quiet game here. Very quiet series, actually, considering his main pick in Game 1.
It's actually quite refreshing to see Vici Gaming able to shift their win conditions around from the bottom side of the map towards the mid side, have someone else take the spotlight, and have a great game on the shoulders of a good early game, a good defensive early game as well. But for V5, I want to take a check at their items. I feel like this is the point where they can start to fight front to back. The two key things that you want to see is the Gargoyle Stoneplate coming out from Ben 4. He's going to be able to stay in there for longer, not get taken down at the start of a fight like he has been going down so many times this game already. And also you see the flanking potential from Lei. He does complete the Righteous Glory. So there's a lot more itemization tools for V5 right now. All they need, I feel like, is just to wait for the teleport, and we could see a three-sided collapse. And it really takes a lot of execution, but it should be beautiful to watch.
Because 6k gold at the moment is not enough for Vici Gaming to feel safe. Still around the Baron in 1 minute 30. That would make them feel safer. Topside turret is getting pushed in and they're rotating through, clearing vision on the way. It's going to take a very risky play for V5 to get in this jungle and contest. But right now, 5 members strong towards this turret and Ben 4's ready to go in with Korn at the side.
The vision play is just so solid from Vici Gaming. No potential flanking wards. Actually, there is one straight at the back, but Jinoo is going to have to be out of sight for that teleport play to actually happen.
Yeah, because it's only Ben 4 and Korn right now that are managing expectations for V5, that they will play around the gap in vision, but there is none at the moment. Ike's waiting for someone to walk through. Jinoo doing the same. Lei from the side. Tensions are building. This feels like another first date.
I'm surprised Jinoo is actually staying with the 4-man at this point. If they do want to make a play, it is going to have to come from the backside. That's the only flanking teleport ward that they do have. But they're going to go for the potential lucky pickoff on the side. Doesn't really get anything, and top lane's wide open.
Yeah, that's right. Bottom lane is getting pushed in with supers. Top lane, they just continue it forward. V5 feels like there's a lapse here in judgment towards how Vici Gaming are going to start pushing for this win. 7,000 gold in their lead. They push the wave up. Baron's up in 5 seconds. Elder in 15. It's going to be a topsy-turvy play at this point, and Vici going to back and decide then.
So V5, they do have to walk through their own red buff. A lot of pings going down. Absolutely zero vision at this place, but they do catch Southwind.
There's no one else there, though. Korn still doesn't have enough damage to get through, even with the Morellonomicon. We'll see what the change is there if Korn finds someone like Puff, or maybe someone like Ike's at this point. But even Ike's is pretty tanky. Vici, they're starting the Baron. Elder Drake probably going to be started here as well. Now, you favor the Elder on a team like Vici Gaming with Baron buff. What is going to be the difference? Well, Vici going to get the Baron. How much on the Elder? Because here comes the Abyssal Voyage.
Still 2,600 HP right there.
So
perfect
it goes down
engage.
the play with the 2-man knockup. Vici are 3 members strong, but how strong is it really? Into the backside, Jinoo has Southwind. Korn's on him as well. The support of Vici is down. One less Baron buff, and now Vici still keen to take the fight with Jay and Puff, but it's over. Elder Drake's been taken away, and they're both back away.
Yeah, that was a questionable play from Vici to stick their heads into that position. I like the play from V5 because it doesn't change the mechanics of the team fights going further down, the dynamics of the team fight going further down. V5 still looking for that front-to-back team fight, the potential flanks incoming, and Vici are going to have to push potential. So pretty much it's just extending the exact same scenario from before the Baron buffs were on, but this time V5 do have a little bit more raw power. So I do actually favor the trade for V5, considering the situation they were in previously.
And considering Y4 as well, he's pretty much online. He's so far online. I mean, he's better than LimeWire at this point. 4 items. Also has more Malmortius.
I see you're a little bit older than I imagined.
Ah, you thought I was a young buck. No,
yeah.
no. I feel like maybe I shouldn't mention LimeWire. I'm not sure it was LimeWire legal.
Oh, there was legal uses.
Was there? Okay, good. That's what mine was then. I think. Anyway, V5, they have that Elder Drake. That's going to expire in about 1:10. Things are still tense here in this game, number 2. But Baron buff lasts that bit longer.
Righteous Glory with the Void Staff prepared. Here we
Lay
go.
Hex flashes over the wall. Cataclysm hits none. 2-man knock-up again from Lay. Scout of the week again, nothing. But into the Ragnarok once again for the jungler Ikes. What happens next? Jinoo flashes forward, gets the Hemoplague on the puff, but no following up damage. Jinoo, the slowdown with the transfusion proc again. Jinoo does so much damage and just can't die. Late game Vladimir scaling a big issue now for Vici Gaming.
But throughout this trade, it was a tremendous victory for V5 in terms of the summoners. They get both carry flashes down. That's the reason Vici Gaming was able to survive the first time around. And if they can defend this inhibitor, maybe not.
That's a shame.
It would have been a good trade.
So still keeping the pace towards Vici Gaming. Remember that gold lead there, but becoming very irrelevant at this point. Warmog's picked up for Ikes. You're seeing in the top side of the map, there's a 4-item Urgot as well. You're mainly looking at Puff, who has a Zhonya's Hourglass as his final item. Safety for this AD carry, especially when Jinoo is able to half-health him with one Tide of Blood. Tides of Blood, rather.
Yep. V5 still waiting for that last item onto Y4. The Infinity Edge is going to make a massive difference in this team fight. They don't really have the damage to take down, to go through Cheilzi.
Lay thought he was going to flash over the other side of the wall. They know that Korn's there at the very least. Cataclysm comes in. Ben4 gets a 2-man knock-up on his way out. Puff is getting out of there quick smart as well. Lay with 1-man knock-up onto Cheilzi. They're able to shred him. True Shot Barrage misses and goes wide. Korn, they now spot him over the side. Predator is being procced. They're straight into Korn. Ragnarok available for Ikes. They get the turret. Vici Gaming pushing forward.
Jinoo slowed.
He is Scatter the Weak, does not connect though. Sanguine Pool popped on down. Transfusion ready for the Crimson Rush. But to no avail. Vici Gaming inhibitor and back away. Baron is gone. We'll be back shortly in that small 5-minute mark.
Really tense moment for both teams right there, but good on Vici's part to keep their formation together. Not a single crowd control spell was able to land onto the back line. Lay probably, that's pushing the Fnatic bush just a little too far.
He really wants to start these fights. V5, maybe not as ambitious as he is. 1 inhibitor turret left remaining though, Clement. And Vici, it feels like they're kind of getting away with murder again.
The bot side wave is so advantageous for Vici. Someone has to go back and deal with the double super minions.
Jinoo not being in the fight, he clears it very quickly, however, and he gives himself enough time for the next wave to come forward for Vici Gaming.
There isn't a good flanking ward for Jinoo. Lay just goes straight in.
Scatter the Weak was perfect from Jay. Lay is absolutely denied. Get out of here, kid. True Shot Barrage, Fear Beyond Death, onto 2. It's Korn, it's Jinoo. See you later.
And Jay has just been reading every single play V5 could potentially throw at them. Jinoo's forced to go in right now.
Plague from Jinoo. Is he going to heal up in time? Half health back here. Crimson Rush will heal him even more. V5 getting super low. Cheilzi and Puff are just popping it all out. Jinoo cannot survive, but the Vladimir makes Puff go golden for Y4. Kaiser late game. This is what you want. V5 can hold here. This is doable. Korn almost takes down Cheilzi. Southwind and Puff have to kite back. Y4 gets jumped back in on. Puff, you absolute madman. Now Cheilzi Ergon, this does not look good for you. This is not a crab rave. Sit down, son. 900 gold over to Korn.
And how did Jinoo survive the start of that fight? I thought he had to go back in because he was on his death throes. He was down to 300 HP. Hemoplague able to heal him back to half health, and then Vici overchase. They forget about Y4, comes in from the top side, picks off Jay, and they come back into this team fight. This is a winnable situation where I actually think if they get their inhibitors up, they now have the advantage.
That's right. You were able to hold off that massive fight from Vici Gaming, especially when just so much was done in a short period of time.
4v fight situation to start the fight off. Let's look at Jinoo. He's so low to begin this fight. Goes even lower. That's 100 HP left, but he gets a massive heal for 1300 HP. They pick up Jay on the top side, trade all of their frontliners for it, but just watch Jinoo. Puff made a raw move right here, trying to go 1v1 against the Vampire.
And now it's going to cost employment. V5 are on the Baron here. True Shot Mirage will spot it out, but where are they? They're on the Elder Drake, Mountain and Double Ocean. Is it really going to be enough? Especially if you're losing these fights, you need the extra damage, and V5 say, fine, that's the trade.
Taking stock of the Summoner situation right here, the most important one will be Vladimir having his flash off. Jinoo does have access into the backline at this point. Both Summoners up for Vici's carries as well. They're going to try to end the game with the Elder Dragon push.
Empowered back, so with the Baron buff, everyone's going to be here at this base. Double empowered minions tunneling on in. Jinoo handling the ones on the bot side. The rest of the team are mid. Elder Drake has 4 minutes and 30 remaining.
Look at what Lei is doing once more, setting up himself on that brush.
Oh,
he
no.
might be feeling a little
pinch.
pinch.
He's here. Lei bops him back out. Can he survive long enough? Ben4 here with Y4 as well. 4+4 is 8. Now there's only 9 members left.
They're going
Not
back.
sure about the quick map. Ben4 into the back line. Scatter the weak again. Jinoo can't get into the fight. Ben4 almost deleted out and is Jay. Puff, the damage is surreal right now. Jinoo will heal back up again. Cheilzi, though, took all of the damage and did not die. The fight will continue as Vici tunnel in for the third inhibitor.
It's still a 5v3 situation, and Cheilzi does have his teleport. Should be coming in on the next wave straight away. Jay just holding on to his ultimate for so long. Unleash power, making sure Y4 was not able to join the fight and snipe him out on the backline.
The Lei was caught out. That's what started this. What will end it?
Here we go.
Hemoplague is massive. Will get the healing off, and in time as well. Turret takes its first hit, and Korn's out of the fight. 4 members need to kill Jinoo now. Puff gets jumped on again.
They get one, they get two.
Korn jumps in with the AoE. Not good now for Vici. Puff needs to outplay, but he can't. Y4 in the backside. The killer instincts right through.
And this has been the best team fighting game we've seen all series long. So much back and forth. Another uneven member fight that V5 are able to take away. Y4 at the just holding on so long, picking his moments perfectly, and Jinoo also with the flash. We were talking about him as the nuclear bomb going down onto the composition. Can they finish off this push? 30 seconds left to do it. I think they can.
Jay's up in 27-26. Turrets are going down. Ike's will be the first member to come back for Summoner's Rift, but it doesn't matter. V5 have fought their way back. The scaling works in their favor. What a game to bring us to a number 3. Vici Gaming tested in every which way, and V5 sure brought the pain.
What an amazing series it has been so far. We've been seeing so many 3v5s turn in the favor that has the fewer members, and that's exactly what happened in the last team fight. 4-man Hemoplague. I was doubting the Vladimir from the draft earlier on. I felt like it was a weird decision to give up on early lane control, but you could see the power of the Vampire.
And we forgot about those mid-game team fights. We're like, okay, Jinoo's getting some picks. Everything slowed down a little bit with Vici taking control. We then got to the late game. We visited, or revisited rather, the Vladimir who'd been farming up. Jinoo comes back in and ends up doing 41k damage in that 44-minute game.
That's insane. Considering his early start of the game, how bad it really was for him, how they had to pull the support from the bot side just to make sure that Jinoo could get some farm underneath his own tower. An amazing way to cap it off. Getting the most damage down, and I'm sure he's going to get the MVP for it as well.
You remember when we started talking about this team being, you know, bits and pieces put together? That's what makes bread, Clement, you know? Honestly, even if you find it on the floor, even if you find it in the top shelf where it's been forgotten, it's still bread. And that's what matters, that this team still comes together as a whole, and it was very cohesive by the later stage.
I'll take that metaphor even further. I think Jinoo is the yeast of that bread.
Oh, really?
Without him, you only get dough, you know? It's really easy to form. It doesn't have a shape. But with Jinoo, you know what your win conditions are right here. And I like the drafting decisions. I know I criticized it at the start of the game. I have my own preferences. I have my own preferences.
You're saved now.
But Dog 8 did a good job on taking away the power from Puff. Puff was not really a big factor from Vici Gaming.
True.
Jay did step up to fill in that role, but they didn't have that late game win condition left in the team anymore.
Also true.
And you know, I think that's how Game 3 is going to shape up. I feel like you probably don't need to bank so much on the Corn matchup. I don't think it's going to happen today. Probably not. But what you can do is Kai'Sa's going to be the #1 contested pick. You want a composition that has a little bit better scaling, and it does seem like both teams have the defense in place to stop the other one from running away in the other game.
And because Jinoo was such a big factor in that last game, you got to think game number 3 leads you to believe that it's along the lines of a Riven top lane as a final pickup. The Vladimir was very impactful, has very different, you know, mechanics to a Riven, but still. I mean, Jinoo was the biggest impact in that game, and Y4 was sitting right behind him.
Yeah, I don't think that Vici can get away with the way they drafted, which is they basically gave a lot of counter picks towards V5. V5, like we were talking about, was the red side pick. I think this time around, if they give Cheilzi, just give him up blindly, I think V5 will be able to punish that matchup.
Good mid-game, though, from Vici Gaming. Hopefully it does transition into a late game with a better draft, like you were saying. We'll find out. Small break, then returning to Game 3 between V5 and Vici Gaming. Who knew?